Yeah. What up, YouTubers and wrestling fans? S2 is the name. Talking Wrestling is the game. Monday Night Raw last night. SmackDown's on in a little while. These videos, I'm trying to get them out as fast as possible. Also trying to learn how to fool around with a couple of programs that I've never used before. And just like the phone editing, the videos and all that crap. But enough about that. Monday Night Raw last night. Let's get right to it. Braun Strowman last week attacks Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, beats the holy hell out of both of them. This week, Reigns and Rollins both want revenge. The funny thing was, though, they were in Chicago last night. Stephanie McMahon in the ring, CM Punk chant start, and Stephanie says, if you would chant for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you'd last 1 second longer than CM Punk. Throwing a jab at Mr. Phil Brooks because of the whooping he received in his UFC debut, which was going to happen. Everybody knew it was going to happen. I think wrestling fans were like praying that it wouldn't happen, but I think he did a good considering he didn't get knocked out. You know, it was a referee stoppage. But enough of that bullshit. Reigns and Rollins both want Strowman. Rollins ends up getting him because he's talking about Triple H right to Stephanie, pretty much saying that Triple H is in Stephanie's, you know, Stephanie has Triple H's balls right in her pocket, in her purse, and he wants him to give him back. He wants her to give him back, and he wants the old game. And last year around this time, he was poised to win the Royal Rumble and the WWE Championship at the same time, which he did. So Seth Rollins is just asking Stephanie to allow Triple H to come back. So the match is made. Strowman versus Seth Rollins. Could Seth actually be the one to defeat Braun Strowman? The New Day took on Sheamus and Cesaro in their rematch for the WWE Raw Tag Team titles. And Sheamus and Cesaro go over again. Is there any team that's going to be able to step up against Sheamus and Cesaro and possibly take those tag team titles? I'm not too sure how long Sheamus and Cesaro can be a successful tag team. They're over as shit with the fans, but that's because of Cesaro. Cesaro's just one of those competitors and characters in the WWE that we just love. We just like Cesaro. He's an athlete and he looks the part of a pro wrestler and he takes it serious. That's what we want. But Sheamus and Cesaro go over on the New Day. I think the New Day are just about out of the tag team title picture for now. So like I said, let me know in the comments, who steps up? Who steps up? Who's the next big challengers for Sheamus and Cesaro? Nia Jax beat a jobber, and boy, she beat her bad. That leg drop finisher. Maybe it's an homage to Yokozuna, who I think she's related to somewhere down the line, her Samoan bloodline. But Nia Jax is a problem. I like that they keep booking her, this monster, unstoppable machine, because it's working and it's doing wonders for Strowman as well, and it's doing wonders for Nia Jax. Scarlett Bordeaux, or whoever she went over, oh man, I feel bad for that jobber, for real. Bayley had her rematch with Charlotte again, and if she won, she got a #1 contendership. Charlotte came out and Bayley, they had a little promo bullshit in the beginning of the match, before the match actually, and Charlotte said that her lawyers, her dad taught her to always have good lawyers, great lawyers, so her lawyers looked at the tape and they saw that Charlotte's shoulder was up before the ref counted 3, so the win never counted, so they expunged the win from Bayley's record. Bayley's only 2-0 against Charlotte, which doesn't mean anything, but they have a match last night where Charlotte says her lawyers have gotten her a competent referee. And by competent referee, she says one that's going to call it right down the middle. The only thing was, that person, see, let's talk wrestling, no gimmicks needed, low flying plane, thing was shaky, sounded like a fucking jumbo jet. But Dana Brooke was the special referee, and I think you know how that went. In the end, fast count, Charlotte with her foot on the ropes defeats Bayley. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know how many times Charlotte can beat Bayley or vice versa. I don't know if Bayley and Charlotte can both create that magic that Sasha and if Bayley and Charlotte can create the magic that Sasha and Charlotte had. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Raw, I noticed last night, 3 hours is a really long time for a wrestling show. So we're going to have to keep our eye on that women's division. Nia Jax is coming on strong. But anywho, Neville, TJP had a one-on-one last night. I love the shit out of Austin Aries getting to do commentary when the Cruiserweights come on Raw. There was an Austin Aries chant last night. I'm pretty sure they were in his ear telling him not to acknowledge it, but he did acknowledge it a little bit. And, you know, I think he must have pointed back to the ring, or he did something to calm that crowd down, or that Chicago crowd would have chanted Austin Aries the entire night. Neville goes over TJP. Beautiful, beautiful victory by Neville. He cheats to win, blocks the knee bar into a victory roll, pulls the tights, and I mean, he pulled those tights. So that was really good. I definitely enjoyed that. So kudos to Neville, who gets Rich Swann tonight on 205 Live. And there's no reason why Neville shouldn't, he should win the title tonight. There shouldn't be another match. He should go over Rich Swann tonight for the belt. If not, he should brutalize him to the point where he gets disqualified. But Neville over TJP in a really good match, and the Chicago crowd was into it last night, which just showed how good that Cruiserweight division and that show can be if they get hot crowds. Boring crowds, boring matches, no matter what happens. Last week, Enzo had to go to sensitivity training course, and Rusev and Jinder Mahal jumped him. They put him in a wheelchair. This week he comes out, still talking smack. Big Cass and Enzo call out Rusev. It's a big time brawl, and just a waste of 15 minutes, 10 minutes, but you gotta give those mid-carders something to do. And I'm happy at least Enzo, Cass, and Ruru are getting the rub on television. Braun Strowman comes out and destroys Darren Young and Bo Dallas and the Shining Stars. I mean, he absolutely obliterates them. It was funny to watch. Braun Strowman is funny to watch because he's so big and so strong. But that led right into the Seth Rollins match. And I'll tell you what, as bad as people think Braun Strowman is in the ring, Seth Rollins made him look like a giant last night, a monster. The match was competitive. It was hard-hitting at times. Strowman was so explosive with his speed. He showed signs of greatness like a young Big Show in his WCW days, but he knows how to wrestle. It was a good match, and in the end, Strowman destroys Seth on the outside, and whose music would hit? Of course, Sami Zayn comes in and makes the save. Not makes the save, but he just interferes in the match. And he gets disqualified. Well, he disqualifies Seth. So Strowman wins the match, but then Zayn takes off into the crowd. Braun Strowman destroyed some random fan running by. He wasn't ready. No, he wasn't ready. Man, that fan got creamed. And then Strowman running was another something that is just hilarious. And I urge you people to try to find that clip of Braun Strowman running through the crowd and bulldozing that unlucky fan. Merry Christmas. Jeez. Earlier on in the night, Bayley walked up to Goldust and handed him a bear, a little mini Bayley bear, dressed as Dusty Rhodes. We know what Dusty meant to Bayley and the rest of those NXT girls and the entire NXT and the entire wrestling world. Shit, I know what Dusty means to me, so I could imagine anyone that knew him personally. I only got to meet the son of a plumber just twice, and it was amazing meeting that man. But, so Bayley gives him the bear. R-Truth comes back, says that's nice, and who comes in but the Club, my favorite tag team, and controversy would ensue. They ripped the head off the Dusty Rhodes bear, called him a bunch of nerds, and walked away. Cody Rhodes tweeted, said he's not going to say anything mean, but he wants whoever decided to write that segment and put it on TV to never have to know what he feels like at that moment. Of course, it was sad watching the bear get its head ripped off, but it made for really good television. The Club go over Golden Truth, thank God. Thank God is all I gotta say, and I really hope the Club is next in line for those WWE Raw Tag Team titles. If not, they need to book it back to Japan immediately. Then we had a weird Rich Swann versus Arya Daivari with really no interference. It was a very competitive match, and again, the Chicago crowd was so into it that the match was entertaining, because remember, it's professional wrestling. The crowd is as big a part of the match as the wrestlers are, because if you're sitting on your hands doing nothing, that's exactly what it's going to come off on TV. It's going to look like crap. It's going to sound like crap. Rich Swann gets the win, but not till Neville comes in and whoops that ass. Works on his back, throws him into the ring apron, back first, then hits the red arrow on his back, cuts a killer promo afterwards, calling himself the king of the cruiserweights, and with his British accent, it just came off like gold on television. I'm praying Neville wins tonight after SmackDown Wildcard, which is going to be sick, and 205 Live Rich Swann versus Neville. The big main event. Roman Reigns puts his United States title on the line against Kevin Owens, and they are just trying to capture some of that fire that they had in their original feud, and they just really can't. The crowd's behind Owens. They're not behind Reigns at all. This match ends with Jericho trying to cost Reigns the match. Rollins coming out and pedigreeing Jericho on the outside. Reigns hit the spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is still the United States champion. Then Kevin Owens gets a pedigree from Seth Rollins. As Raw goes off the air, Reigns and Rollins stand tall. Now, earlier in the night, I remember Stephanie McMahon was in the ring to start off the show, and she teased that Dean Ambrose would be there tonight, which was yesterday, but tonight, and that maybe they could get the Shield back together. Of course, that was a farce. But, oh, look at this little cat out of nowhere. But, Reigns and Rollins in the main event, controlling the main event scene for now. We need to see where this goes. Might Kevin Owens lose that belt at Royal Rumble? I certainly hope not. But again, you just never know. Monday Night Raw was great last night. I think it was okay. There was a few hiccups, a few missteps, but that's going to happen with a 3-hour show. Never did I realize how long Raw was until last night. It was long. 3 hours of wrestling is a long show, especially when the matches aren't, you know, bang, 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 title matches and big wrestlers and all this stuff. So I give Raw a solid B- yesterday. It was the last Raw of 2016, and I hope Triple H gets his ass to that Royal Rumble to hurt Seth Rollins in some way, because that feud is growing stale. Braun Strowman looked great next week on Raw. Braun Strowman against Sami Zayn in a last man standing match, per requested by Braun Strowman, given to him by Stephanie McMahon. So I can't wait to see what Mick Foley has to say about that when he gets back. Remember, man, here on Let's Talk Wrestling, there's no gimmicks needed. It's just me, the camera, you, the viewer. So don't forget to like this video, thumbs up it. YouTube loves the thumbs up when you get thumbs up. Subscribe, comment in the video, let me know how you thought the last Raw of 2016 was, and always tell a friend to tell a friend about Let's Talk Wrestling. SmackDown coming up next, and I might do a 205 Live video. I don't know.